What's up, guys? Welcome to the Pod Gods. I'm Primetime Poulton. With me, the main event, Phil McNulty.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm so glad it's Friday. Don't even get me started. My phone was blowing up today with parents because progress reports went out today, right?
Yeah.
And this one girl kept saying, Mr. McNulty, I got a 90 in your class. I said, no, you don't have a 90 in my class. In fact, you have like a 65 in my class. And she's like, how can I have a 65 in art? I said, because you don't turn anything in. So, and then I got a message from a parent saying, my son told me I had an 80. And I said, no, he doesn't have an 80. In fact, he's got like a 50 something. And I said, I told him, and I sent what I sent out to parents. I said, don't let the scores on Google Classroom fool you. Check the other site where the real numbers are. I said, Google Classroom only is to tell you whether you turned in or submitted it. It won't tell you. So I had parents, I had everything. I am glad the weekend is here. I'm glad that I get to see you and talk about professional wrestling. I'm looking forward to SmackDown tonight. So I'm excited.
I had a great day. I worked until 10 a.m. I worked 2 hours today. And then I picked up my son, Chase. We got some pizza. We picked up new comics. We went to the mall. He bought a bunch of Pokemon stuff. It was a great day.
And what mall do you go to?
Oh, we went down to the Hamilton Mall down in Egg Harbor Township.
Oh, Level Up?
Yep. Level
All
up.
right.
Yeah, he loves that place.
It's a good place.
Yep.
It's a really good place.
Yeah. So if anyone's in the South Jersey area, check out Level Up Entertainment in the Hamilton Mall, especially if they do free comic book day. Man, it's like a mini convention. It's awesome there. But anyway, we're going to talk AEW tonight. A lot to talk about with AEW. You might get some conflicting opinions, especially on this live stream. But before we do that, we're going to update you. As you know, my Indiegogo campaign, US Assassin, is where the heck is it? I gotta find it. Here it is. So we're gonna check it out. We got maybe 12 days left. Here it is. We got 11 days left. Government super ninja Joe Knight wakes up, finds himself in the basement of a building, much like the raid. Bruce Lee's Game of Death. He has to fight his way out. Each level, a new threat, a new villain to fight. This combines all my loves, my love of 80s action films, 90s comics, G.I. Joe, all rolled up into one. The last page, we leave you on a doozy of a cliffhanger. It rolls right into volume 3, which volume 3 is already like halfway completed. Artist Mike McMahon's just kicking ass on this book. And we have tons of surprises in store for volume 3. So you want to get on now with volume 2. Make sure you pick up all the volumes, and you can do that by picking up our featured perk. You get the book 1 reprint featuring that awesome Spider-Man homage cover by Mark Yoon. You get book 2, and you get a sketch by Mike McMahon, all for $75. Now you're getting both books and a piece of an original art from Mike for $75. That's a great deal. Next up, we have for $25, you can just get the book. If you already have volume 1 and you need volume 2, you can pick that up for $25. Or if you just want to dip your toe in the US Assassin world, you can pick up the book 1 reprint. All these books will come signed by me. We have some variant covers. First up, we have a book 2 variant by Kevin Sharp. Kevin's a great artist. Worked on X-Men, G.I. Joe. Tons of classic titles. We also have a wraparound cover variant by Cedric Nacon, former Extreme Studios artist. We got the Spider-Man homage t-shirt for $25. You can get 2 copies of the book, book 2, one for you, one for your friend for $40, or one to be your reader copy and one to keep nice and safe sealed in its bag and board. For $50, you got the action pack. That's the book 1 reprint and book 2. The triple threat for all those collectors out there. It comes with the first printing of volume 1, the volume 1 reprint, and volume 2. Then the Patriot Pack, those 3 books plus a sketch from Mike McMahon. $200 gets you the U.S. Assassin Footlocker. There's only 5 of these remaining. It's very limited, and this is probably the coolest reward we're offering. It's a collector's box coming with all 5 books we're offering, an exclusive trading card, a print, and not only a sketch from Mike, but a sketch from me as well. And then for any retailers out there, we have the retailer pack. $300, you get 10 copies of the book 1 reprint, 10 copies of book 2, a ton of promo items for your store to help sell the book, and an awesome 24 by 36 inch poster that you can hang in your store, proudly letting people know you sell U.S. Assassin in your fine establishment. And you know, you don't have to be a retailer if you want this perk. Hey, maybe you have 9 friends, you want to turn on the U.S. Assassin. You buy this, you keep a copy for yourself, give 9 copies to friends for Christmas, because I expect to have this fulfilled before Christmas. And then you keep that sweet poster for yourself. You can't go wrong there. But anyway, we're only 11 days away. We're inching up to that $10,000 stretch goal where everyone gets a print by Dexter Weeks. And also, everyone who backs the project, they're entered to win the original artwork to this cover to book 2 at 3 a.m. election night. Mike and I will be live streaming, and we will pick one lucky backer. They'll win the original artwork to this. I mean, you can't win unless you back, because that's the only way you can enter, by backing the campaign. So make sure you get your pre-orders in. But that's enough about U.S. Assassin. We have pro wrestling to talk about. AEW, the Dinner Debonair. We'll hold off on that. We're gonna go straight to the ring. Wardlow, Jungle Boy, the world title eliminator match. Wardlow, man, he's my man. I love him.
He is phenomenal. And he doesn't work like he works like a big man, but with personality. I love the way he sells. I love the way he no sells. He's just a legit big man, pure ass kicker. Like when he had his like little man bun get undone, it was down the side of his face. I'm like, man, Wardlow is cool as shit.
He is, man. He was awesome. He gets the win over Jungle Boy. He's good at advancing this tournament. The right person won, as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. Jungle Boy has a bright future, but I don't think it's as bright as Wardlow. This guy's awesome. He has killer entrance music too.
This is a war, like getting you pumped up.
Yeah.
They need for him to kick the shit out of MJF and already split him up already, because this guy's a star. And to me, this episode, started off strong, and I think he's a much needed talent that needs to start making his way up into the upper echelon, because he's too good to be where he is at now.
Yeah. So after that match, we saw some footage of when AEW went off the air last week, Eddie, with the beatdown Eddie Kingston and the Lucha Brothers gave to Moxley. Kingston, as usual, cut a fiery promo on Moxley, basically calling him a sellout, that he left him behind, went to the land of entertainers. This is nothing new that we've heard from Kingston, but he delivers it with such passion and fire, man. I love it.
I think what it really did was it also set up Moxley's promo to be really good. Like, and I think with we throw a lot of shit on Moxley, but when he cuts promos like this, like the follow up of like, you're gonna begrudge me of feeding my family, you're gonna begrudge me of actually paying bills and stuff. It was a nice little retort, and I think it was a nice setup for his retort.
Yeah, exactly. So after they showed that footage of Kingston from last week, we went to the Moxley promo, and this was one of his best promos ever. I feel like this is a great pairing for him. They can cut some fiery promos back and forth, and like do some deep cuts, because I feel like Kingston's promo like hit hard, hit the right place on Moxley, and added a little realism to it.
This is where Moxley. This is what Moxley needs. I'm glad Eddie Kingston's getting shot. I know we both know there's no way in hell, but Eddie Kingston sells it like he's not gonna quit. You
Yeah.
know he's gonna quit, but he sells it like at the end of it, had me thinking, how the hell are any of these guys gonna quit?
Yeah. And I know it wasn't during this segment, but I want to talk on it. JR asked Kingston how much experience he had in I Quit matches. And I loved Kingston's response back where he just like gave it back to JR saying like some guy stabbed him and he stabbed him with a pen.
There's no quit in him.
Yeah, it was amazing. So after we get those two promos, another match, another part of the tournament for the world title eliminator. This was the match of the night as far as I'm concerned. Kenny Omega making the big entrance against Sonny Kiss. This match lasted all of 5 seconds. It was amazing.
It was COVID-19 seconds. Because it was supposed to be Joey Janela. And I don't think if it was Joey Janela, it would have been this squash match as it was, right? So I am so glad because this is the obnoxious entrance. The Justin Roberts, he is the only man to have a 5-star rating twice on the Meltzer scale. And you're like, this is it. This is the guy from New Japan I wanted. And that face at the end of it is so meme worthy. This is the guy we've wanted since the beginning. And I love it because it's unlike the Hangman's storyline, unlike the Young Bucks heel turn, or even if it is a heel turn, I have no clue what it is at this point. Like, this is the most natural progression of a character. Of I tried to be the good guy. I really tried. I tried to do the right thing, and in it, I lost who I was, and I'm just tired of this shit. And this is exactly the Kenny Omega that was tried to be lured away to the WWE, and this is why I love him. And this is the best match of the week for me.
Yeah, and then all the baby stuff, face stuff at the end, helping Sonny Kiss up, raising his hand. Yeah, and Sonny Kiss, he did a great job selling it. You felt like he had no clue where he was because Sonny Kiss sold it so well.
When he bowed to Sonny and lifted his hand and pointed at him, like it was like this match lasted like 19 minutes compared to 19 seconds. It was so good. I love Kenny Omega. He is such a technician and master of storytelling. This is his bread and butter.
Yeah, it was awesome. After that, another world title eliminator match: Ray Phoenix versus Penta. The Battle of the Brothers, the Lucha Brothers. This was awesome, and it has me so excited for Phoenix gets the win. We're gonna get Kenny versus Phoenix.
You ready for this breaking news?
Yeah.
Phoenix relinquished the win to his brother because that head scissors from the top rope, when he landed on his neck, he's out next week. So Penta's getting
No.
yep. So it's going to be Penta versus Kenny.
Breaking news. No, I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I just read it.
That's a shame because that match had 5 stars written all over it.
You know, it's funny because I was watching it with my brother and my sister, and we were talking about it. And we all said if Ray wins, it's going to be a full-on 5-star classic. Like, it's going to be amazing. If Penta wins, we may be in line for another Kenny squash match. And I said it earlier with Joey Janela, maybe this is the best thing for Kenny because now he may be able to squash another guy so fast.
Yeah.
Because I think if it was Penta, I mean, if it was Ray, it would have been maybe a beatdown afterwards, Kenny, not the obnoxious like celebratory Kenny. And I think this may be another obnoxious celebratory Kenny that I'm ready for. Just give me more of it.
It worked out. I mean, you never want to hear an injury changes the card, but it worked out perfectly that he lost or he beat his brother because he can now. It makes all the sense in the world that he would pass that opportunity on to his brother.
Mm-hmm. Well, good storytelling. I like Penta. I think Penta is a better storyteller than Ray, but Ray just puts on all the freaking good matches.
Yeah. So after this match, we're backstage with Alex Marvez, and he's interviewing Colt Cabana, Johnny Silver, and Alex Reynolds. I loved this interview. Um, Johnny Silver is the man. Is it crazy to say Johnny Silver is the most popular man in AEW?
No, it's not a crazy thing because, you know, my sister who hated the Dark Order when they first started, we were fans of Alex Reynolds from his House of Hardcore days, and we rooted for him when Tony Nese was like, "This is my last day here," and he joined the cruiserweight division with Titan, and it's just so funny to see like these two work so well together, and towards the end of here is why I'm salty to this episode because as we're discussing it, the first half was so good, and then it sort of starts taking a downfall a little bit.
Yeah, during the promo, Johnny Silver he tells Colt Cabana he doesn't like him, but he's rooting for him because he wants him to be the next AEW World Champion because him and Reynolds are going to be the AEW Tag Team champions, and Mr. Brody Lee's going to win back the TNT title. This is good stuff. I feel like they, I don't know. I feel like they rushed through the whole Colt Cabana Dark Order thing. It's kind of weird because he hasn't had any interaction with Brody Lee since he lost that match at the pay-per-view.
You know what it is, and I'm not, and I'll praise Cody at the end of the show, but Cody is too powerful, if that makes sense, because every storyline seemed to hit a wall when Cody came back. Like, why did we saw Orange take a weird booking decision to get squashed by to lose to Brody coming off his huge victories against Jericho, and then we see him go the distance against Cody, and now Cody is sort of almost saying like, "Oh, I guess I gotta face this guy again," and it seems like Cody seems to start and stop things, and we didn't get that interaction because we had to put the title on Brody, and then he had to lose it in the dog collar match, and it seemed like they took all the extra stuff from the Dark Order and pushed it aside because Cody was coming back. So I feel like every time Cody leaves and comes back, it's a start-stop thing, and it just really annoyed me because I think it cost Colt Cabana and Brody this clash that we were excited for.
Yeah, I honestly thought Colt was going to be the guy that took the TNT title off Brody Lee and possibly even take over the Dark Order. But so Colt's in this World Title Eliminator tournament. He comes out the only member of the Dark Order that accompanied. I'm tongue-tied. Comes out with him is Evil Uno, and Colt is facing Hangman Page. We're hard on JR, mostly you, but I want to give him props. I felt like he painted a great picture with Colt Cabana, saying that he was in like almost the twilight of his career, and he is desperate for a win and a world championship opportunity.
It's funny you brought that up because this is the first time I was going to praise JR and the fact that this is why they brought him in to make us feel about the other competitor. We all know the story about Hangman, and yeah, that was all on him. But the way he sold it to give you some of that, maybe that question in your head. Like, we know it's going to be Omega and Hangman at Full Gear, but it's so cool the fact that he gave you that little bit of doubt because he really sold that Colt needed this win.
Yeah, it was a great job of storytelling. Hangman gets the win. All of Dark Order, except for Mr. Lee, comes out and helps Colt up. I was expecting a beatdown.
Are you? Hear me out. Are they slowly turning the Dark Order face because of their BTE segments being the most highly touted segments?
I've loved them from the beginning. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're just so entertaining and so good. And maybe I get caught up in face and heel things, too
Yeah.
much, right? Because that's the way I've been programmed and conditioned. But it has that attitude era feel to it that we don't know. That there's no defined good and no defined bad, except for who Like we know Kenny shithead heel. So I really like that dynamic.
Yeah. Speaking of BTE, uh, Dark Order again was amazing. Johnny Silver pretends he gets a phone call from Mr. Lee and makes 5 and 10 paper each other with the rolls of paper. Everything about their segments are so great. Even Anna Jay, just like sitting on top of I don't know, a soda machine or something in the background, just looking pissed off. They're all great at their part.
And this is why I get upset, because we're gonna start going into the next part. Normally, I say when AEW starts slow, it's Jericho that rescues the show, right? And it makes me say, well, why aren't they putting the BTE segments on the show? This is another thing. This is what gets me hot and gets me angry. I may have to stop watching BTE, and I said this before we went on air. I may have to stop watching BTE because it aggravates me when these segments aren't on television and we get segments that bog down the product. Like, we want an alternative. We want those storylines and entertainment. Stop saving them for YouTube, damn it. Fucking put them on the television.
Yeah, it's funny. BTE is the better written show and the show with more like personal character moments.
We don't get the full silver like that. This week's silver segment was great because we popped for him when he came out holding the belt because we've been watching YouTube. But with Silver going, yeah, this is the personality that they should keep bringing out.
Yeah. So Hangman advances into in the tournament. I think next week we're just going to get one match and then one match the following week and then the finals at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, after the commercial break, we have a promo from Team Taz. Your boy Ricky Stark. Yes, Wolverine, you're wearing your Brian Cage shirt. I was going to say your man Ricky Starks tearing up AEW Dark. Every week he gets another victory.
I know he gives me. I have to update my fantasy team right now because I haven't put the points on this from this past week. But my goodness, that man always gives me a point.
Yeah, so Taz was talking about how he was walking down the hall. Tony Khan calls him in to his office and basically told him, if Ricky Starks had beaten Darby Allin last week, he would have been the guy getting the TNT title shot. And Taz is pissed off because Starks every week is winning matches. Darby Allin shows up once and wins the match, and now he's in the TNT title picture.
I love these three guys make the most of what they're on television. And what did I said it a couple weeks ago. I said with Lance Archer, they heat him up to beat him down, and then you don't see him again. Nothing from Lance Archer, about his defeat, but I think it's a testament to Ricky Starks and Taz and Cage. Like, this is the most comfortable Cage looked on the mic. I was really excited to see Cage be, not just the muscle, but actually some personality to him.
Yeah.
So these three guys, I love these guys, and they need, I always say, I feel like they need prominent roles. So hopefully the second television show that's in the works actually highlights some other guys because, some of these dudes really just need to be on television because they're so good at what they do.
Yeah. So next up is what everyone's talking about, Le Dinner Debonair. I've seen differing opinions on Twitter. I want to say before you talk about it, I want to say I absolutely loved it. I was speechless when I saw it. I showed it to my wife. She's not a big wrestling fan. She loved it too. And I don't like MJF. I haven't liked anything he's ever done. When people say how great he is, I just feel like he's overrated, and I feel like Wardlow's the star. this is the first time I've like saw a MJF segment and was like, wow, this guy has talent. He outperformed Jericho in this. He outsang a professional singer.
Did you ever see the clip of young MJF on Rosie O'Donnell trying to be
Yeah,
the singer? That's
yeah.
what it struck me as funny. Um, but um, ah, my God, I love Jericho, and so much so that he can give me a plate of shit on a plate, and I'm gonna say, man, this is the most delicious meal I've had in my life. I found my own cut of beef that I would have returned. You know, it started out so promising. I loved when it was like, oh, they were going back and forth, and when Jericho says, "What are we doing?" Right? I loved it, and then they sang, and I've never been embarrassed about AEW at all. I've never been afraid to say, "Hey, check out AEW, check out AEW." I've watched an 80-year-old woman give birth to a hand. I've watched someone basically drug someone to marry them, right? I've heard someone talk about their grapefruits, right? I've seen a comatose woman come to a wheelchair from the ramp, stand up. I've seen a man kiss a woman in front of his wife in a coma. I've seen it all. And all of those to me were more believable than this segment, and it took me out for the rest of the show. It made me so bitter about it. I just sat there and I looked, and my sister looked at me and she goes, "You don't look happy." I said, "I'm not happy because I feel like this could have possibly undermined everything these two did up until this point. And now we're supposed to take a serious town hall next week. I'm just out. If WWE did this, we would have crucified them, saying, 'Get Vince the fuck out of creative,' or 'What is Bruce Pritchard doing?' or 'What's going on?'" I am just so like, I know I shouldn't be upset about a wrestling segment, but this really changed my view of this feud. I'm not going to forget this segment, and not for better or for worse, but for worse. I was just done. I was out.
Wow. Wow. When I was watching this, I was like, oh, Phil's going to love this. Just another, feather in the cap of Chris Jericho. He does a musical number. Wow. I wasn't expecting this.
I guess I just expect so much more from him, and I've said it over and over and over again. Jericho has been the best part of AEW since day one, and that hadn't changed even with the Mimosa Mayhem match, right? He came out drunk on the stage with the bottle, so you think it's like a drunken rambling thing that somehow came to fruition, and you're just like, man, this guy turns everything into gold, meaning he needs to get that title belt back. Now I'm just like, no, just give it to Kenny. Don't even consider Jericho right now after this segment. That's how much it turned me off.
Wow. Uh, I don't know what to say except let's just move on to the baddest bitch on the block, Britt Baker. She wrestles Kylan King. Um, she's the shining star of the women's division. I found a humorous piece of commentary in this match where they said Britt Baker was the number 5 contender for the AEW women's title. Come on, man. She is after Thunder Rosa. There's no one else in the women's division.
Can we talk about the strange booking to have her lose the dentistry match, for Swole to not be on television or lose a couple matches, and their booking confounds me so much, and
Yeah,
they get trapped in that old, their character so over that a loss won't hurt them. Well, if you're not gonna have Swole be a contender, then why'd you do what you did?
yeah. Britt Baker gets the win, submission victory. She's looking strong. They're building her back up after
Mhm.
that dentistry match. Next, we get a weird segment, Darby Allin with Steve-O, that basically just proves Darby Allin's an idiot.
We talked about they put the wrong guy over with Ricky Starks and Darby Allin. This only reaffirms that they put the wrong guy over Ricky Starks. Like, like of the two, I don't get Darby Allin. I don't get the fact we're supposed to say, "Oh man, Steve-O." Like, who remember? Who remember? Like, if they're trying to get the 18 to 49 demo, who outside of us with the MTV days would remember Jackass? Like, I mean, I forgot who Steve-O was, and it wasn't until my brother who said, "Is that Jackass?" And I'm just like, "Oh yeah, it is." And
This is like Vince keep bringing back Kid Rock.
yeah, this confounds me. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get Darby Allin. I don't get the appeal of Darby Allin. His finisher's weak. He no sells things when after selling an injury for like the entire match, and he rolled off a thing to be like, "I'm gonna win this title." This segment did absolutely nothing for me, and this is why I get upset because the good shit they put on being the elite should have taken the spot of this. The Jericho thing should have been more serious, cut in half, should have added something from BTE because I'm tired of the better show. And they wonder why they're stuck at this number. They wonder why they rarely crack 1 million viewers. Because when you put the same thing out every week and you keep the good stuff for YouTube, you're not growing your audience. You're keeping the core content. Where this is the first time in a long time I thought I may just switch back to NXT for next week because it's been because the past couple episodes have been so weak after so much build.
Don't say that, Phil.
I know. I know. It hurts me. It hurts me to think that because what does NXT really has nothing right now either. They took the best part about that and screwing.
They got Pat McAfee.
You know what? Maybe I'm gonna. No, that's just me being mad at something I love so much. I love AEW so much that I threatened to go back to NXT when really Pat McAfee. Yeah, no, I'll stick with AEW.
Good call. So it's main event time. We have our 4-way tag team match for the number 1 contendership for the tag team world championship. Silver and Reynolds, the people's champion. Butcher and Blade, who are now reunited with Bunny, a Private Party, and the Young Bucks. This was, this was easy to pick. Young Bucks get the victory. But what did you think of the match?
Whoever this ref was needs to get their fucking head checked and needs to get suspended. Alex, I'm watching this live. And I said, "Oh my God, is Alex Reynolds okay?" His hands up, shaking a bit. He's not selling it. You can tell he's not selling it. He lays in the middle of the match. The ref never checks on him. Guys are still trying to get their spots in. Thank God for Blade for coming in and moving him to the corner and tagging him in, right? And still, the ref didn't go out to him to roll him out of the match. Like, that's not Blade. Blade did his best to protect. It made me give more respect to Butcher and Blade because it felt like those are the only two guys who knew what was going on, right? Butcher purposely, I think, was grabbed one of the Bucks and moved away to the edge of the ring to give Reynolds some space, moving the action. And fucking Mark Quinn comes running in, almost landing on Alex Reynolds again. And I'm just like, do you not see this guy's hurt? So, fuck the ref in the middle of this ring when this guy's hurt. We talk, and AEW gets a lot of shit for being spot monkeys and putting their risk. And I know they sort of feel snake bitten with injuries, but goddamn, like we saw, I forget her name, the female ref there. We saw her attend to Matt Hardy right away, throw up the X, protect the guy. This douchebag didn't even take a look at Alex Reynolds, and it makes you think, like, what is there? I guess it makes you feel bad for Alex Reynolds. And this is why I said I'll praise Cody afterwards. After the show ended, he came out and checked on him and all that. But still, my God, what the hell are you doing? And it took me out of this match, and it made me further upset at the end of this, which we'll talk about the end result.
Yeah, so, hats off to Blade. He's probably the most experienced guy there. originally going by Pepper Parks. He wrestled in our area in CZW for years. So, yeah, he's been around a lot. Good veteran. He was also, what was his Impact name?
Oh, jeez.
Braxton Sutter.
Oh, Braxton's what a throwback.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, I've always liked Pepper Parks. So, shout out to him for doing the right thing. The Bucks get the win, and then they are attacked by FTR and a masked man. And aren't the Bucks heels now? They're getting triple teamed by
You know,
and the masked man is it was me all along. It was Tully Blanchard.
like there's commentary saying, "Who's that? Who's that?" The guy is old. You see an old guy that looks like Tully Blanchard, and and it's an old man who helps out FTR. Who else is it gonna be? You know, I mean, it's not Ric Flair, people. Like and I don't know why they did this segment. If they were trying to do a Hitman Stone Cold double turn at the pay-per-view, which I thought this was going to be, and I think I was giving so much credit to the Bucks, thinking this is going to be great. They're going to turn FTR face in a nice double turn segment, right? And where you actually want a root for FTR, and maybe they lose the belts, and by the end of it, you're like, man, I didn't want them to lose the belt by the end of this title reign, So watching this segment it made me think, what was this all about? What was super kicking Marvez? What was super kicking Tony? What was this for?
Yeah, I don't know. And what is this, like a 3-year buildup for Young Bucks and the Revival?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it started on being the Elite with all the fuck the Revival stuff, and we're finally going to get the match. And I feel like, one, it's too soon, and two, it's messed up. It's like totally botched.
The Hangman storyline screwed it. If Hangman stayed with FTR, and Hangman sort of went heel, right? And then by turning FTR face, then the three of them turn face, and that's when that Hangman promo, from being the Elite, was like, you know what, I may be a piece of shit, but you guys are a piece of shits, and I'm the only one who knows what I did was a piece of shit move. Like, and you that explains it. Like, listen, these were my guys, and I fell in love with brethren who drink like me, who talk like me, who accompanied me out to the ring. The Bucks didn't, and I really didn't want to face the Bucks and Kenny. I didn't want to face the Bucks again because they almost beat us last time, and I'd rather face someone I didn't. That explains it. That keeps him still in the middle, and then the double turn keeps Hangman face. With Kenny's already turning heel. This is the final straw for the Bucks, and they finally turn heel at Full Gear. But none of that happened because they overbooked the shit out of this. And I don't know who wrote this, but they need to bring in a writer to keep storyline, to figure out this is where we want to start. They feel like they know where they want to start and where they want to end, but they need help in that middle. And thank God for Kenny Omega keeping it consistent. It seems like he's the only one who knew how to book himself.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just reading, I guess like a couple days ago, that Jericho says he writes all his own stuff, and then it's up to Tony Khan to give it the approval. And it seems like that's how it is with at least all the top guys there, all the EVPs and Jericho.
And they need someone, and I'm not saying bring in Vince Russo. God, don't bring him. Like, I love Vince Russo, but he just doesn't work for AEW. But they need someone like him who can be a writer and actually has experience with laying out episodes, has experience with doing a progression of a story, has experience of saying, all right, we can put this on hold for a week, but we're going to give a little hint to it. And maybe they just do need Vince Russo, to be honest. They need someone who's written television and allows the characters to be themselves, but not too much of themselves. And if we talked about Triple H, burying guys in the Attitude Era, But at least when he buried them, he made them a star. Like that feud with Jericho elevated Jericho in the eyes of people because he almost beat him in the last man standing match. The Game, the cerebral assassin who took over due to an unfortunate injury to Austin and an unfortunate injury to Michaels, that it elevated their talent. I've not seen one guy outside Kenny Omega elevate a talent with wins and losses. And I just don't get, and this whole Bucks forced heel turn does not do anything for me. And it took Hangman out of popularity, and it took the Bucks out of popularity, in my opinion.
You know who I'm surprised isn't there at AEW? I mean, the guy lost his job because he posted a selfie with the Elite. Jimmy Jacobs.
Do you think it's because maybe this is a testament to why Impact has been better? Do you think Jimmy Jacobs is somewhat like an editor for them and helps them guide their stories along?
Oh yeah, definitely. Jacobs is definitely part of creative with Impact, and it's probably why the show's better.
It's why the EC3 Moose storyline I think has been so good, and I think that was reaffirmed with that segment of him getting kidnapped. What an
Yeah,
old school wrestling move, but made it so enjoyable. Love it. It brought back those people who were dressed as EC3. That Moose was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Like, and it reaffirmed, like, yes, they were there by EC3 to fuck with Moose, right? And
yeah,
it was a nice payoff, a simple little thing of having those guys come back in those hoodies, abduct him to show that they really are in cahoots with EC3, just sold the story. And it makes me like excited for that match. And I believe Moose is going to go over, and I think that's the right way. And
yeah,
the list of Jericho was a whole thing, and the Festival of Friendship was a Jimmy Jacobs like written thing with Jericho, and so much so Jericho called Vince and said, "You're not changing this." Like they need someone to be there, and I think especially with COVID, when you can't ride the highs of the audience and you can't see them cheering and you can't feed off that energy, you need to focus on story, and that's why Impact has been so good because everyone has a story. Not a minute is wasted, and that's what really made me feel like this episode of AEW did not click with me because I don't know what's going on anymore, and I've been watching and I haven't missed an episode.
yeah. And as much as we hate Rich Swann, the Eric Young Rich Swann storyline has been great.
It's been beautifully well done. I mean, the fact that he acted like a medical person, taking advantage of people wearing masks, like they brought in a real life element and brought it into the show and made it so entertaining that I got lost in it. And that's what good wrestling writing is, like makes you lose track of what's going on in the real world. And that's what has made Impact so good. It's what's made SmackDown so good. Like the Jimmy Uso, like Hell in a Cell is on Sunday. And if you haven't bought in for that for that Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, like, what are you doing? Like, it's the storyline's been so good.
Yeah.
And that's a Paul Heyman thing. So AEW needs to get themselves a writer who can see the long picture because they want to do long form storytelling, but when it's not done correctly, what's the point?
Yeah, so you said before that Rich Swann storyline was a storyline that a WWE writer wanted to use in,
Mhm.
a former WWE writer wanted to use in WWE. Who was that originally meant for?
I think that was meant for John Morrison.
Was the writer Jimmy Jacobs?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
But there's a thing like because it was supposed to be the Miz and John Morrison, and that was gonna bring they're gonna bring like the Jannetty thing to it. Like you're the Jannetty of the group, I'm the Shawn Michaels of the group, right? And you almost feel like that same thing. Remember, Eric Young came out and said, "I'm the true surprise. This is the disappointment."
Yeah,
Like all they did was switch it out, and that was going to lead to Morrison winning the world title off of the Miz, who did nothing but berate him, and he put his career on the line to do it. And say what you will, that storyline was gonna work there if it weren't shut down, and it's working now, and you're seeing it.
yeah, no. So, uh, AEW thumbs up or thumbs down for this week? I'm going to still give it a thumbs up. It had too much stuff I liked. It was mostly in the front. I mean, I still, I'll give it up for the dinner debonair. I enjoyed it.
I think that's
MJF,
what makes or breaks this episode. If you love
yeah.
the debonair, you didn't care what happened afterwards. If you didn't, you really cared about what happened afterwards.
In that skit, MJF seemed like the more natural performer, where he seemed like he was just in the moment, where Jericho seemed like he was acting, overacting almost.
Yeah, and what do you think about the bunny rejoining Butcher and Blade? I know it's an insignificant part of the show, but I just want to know your thoughts on it.
They should have never took her away from them. I have no idea. Her being with QT never served any purpose. Even the reveal of her going back with Butcher and Blade served no purpose. Like it didn't even play into the match of that QT had.
Hashtag fuck QT.
Yeah, that's someone we haven't given enough grief to lately. So yeah,
Good. That's the one thing AEW has done right in the past month.
yeah. How does he have a job and Matt Cardona doesn't?
Yeah. If Matt Cardona goes to Impact, Impact just, because you sent me an interesting message the other day about all the list of contracts, and it seems like Impact is gone. If no one resigns, they're going to lose their entire
I
roster in
know
2021.
everyone's contract pretty much expires February 2021. Yeah,
I think Ty is gone though.
yeah,
I think Ty will join her husband, and I think hopefully that leads to a world title push for Morrison because he's overdue. The past month, like moving into Raw could have been the best thing ever for him because no one's gonna take the strap off of Roman Reigns, and he's to a point where he doesn't need the Intercontinental title championship again. And he's in this meaningless feud with Otis. If this leads to Otis and Mandy, basically a cross promotion of Otis and Mandy and Taya and Morrison gets the contract from him
yeah,
and cashes it in on McIntyre and leads to the Monday Night Delight. Like I'd be so for that Morrison heel turn because his promo work has been exceptional since he returned. He really worked on it.
yeah. Just two more things I want to touch on before we go. AJ Styles, he's teamed up with the bouncer from Raw Underground. Raw Underground is no more, so the bouncer needed work. Now he is AJ Styles backup. I actually like it. AJ's back to winning matches. SmackDown just wasn't good to him.
As much as this weird as this sounds, I think the Good Brothers held him down. And
Yeah,
I think he held the Good Brothers down. I think the club was never going to work unless it was Balor. And I
yeah,
and I you know and I know they're such good friends, and it's worked somewhat in New Japan, but I think that's because Balor was the one who formed it, and it gave levity to AJ, and he didn't play Uncle Allen, right? He played the phenomenal AJ Styles, and when he was with them in the WWE, he played Uncle Allen, and he didn't
right.
get and so I think that's why I love this AJ Styles. I'm starting to get the Royal Rumble entrant number 4 AJ Styles back.
Yeah. And last thing, Retribution. I know backstage WWE thinks these guys are jokes, which makes you scratch your head. Why'd they even bring about Retribution? But man, their first big match, they go up against Hurt Business, and not only do they lose, but they give up. It
Yeah,
makes no sense.
Monday Night Raw needs to be blown up. I mean, it was new theme, same shit. Like it was nothing felt new about it. The new stars didn't feel anything about it. Tucker on there with like Grondo, like Otis on there didn't serve any purpose. And it makes you wonder, like it just makes you say, you got the Miz and Morrison who look like stars, and you ain't doing shit with them. the New Day's on there, and we can't have a rehash of New Day and Miz and Morrison again. So it's the same thing, different shit. And like, if McIntyre is floundering because bad creative. Like Randy Orton, it doesn't feel like any. It just feels like the draft put a halt in SmackDown's storylines, but at least the Street Profits won and gave me 2 points the other like last week. But other than that, like, what have they done?
Yeah. 3 months from now, will Retribution even be a thing?
No. The T-Bar will be a footnote in the bad creative like storyline. Dominic Dijakovic, they added extra syllables to his. I'm gonna say keep him Dijak and just make him a pure like make him feel like that Russian from Rocky, or make him feel like Van Damme in Bloodsport. Like use the guy's like natural ability to speak on the mic and to do what he does in the ring. Don't overplay it. It's so, and I think this is what's bothered me about AEW too. It feels like it's too manufactured. Like no one has enough liberties to be what they are, and when they do, they don't know what to do with it. So it's so confusing to me.
Yeah, T-Bar could have been Dijak. Slapjack could have been Thorn. His last name. They could have been way better. I better get my Retribution action figures because I like their masks.
Did you see Ciampa's latest T-shirt?
No, I haven't.
It looks like he should be in Retribution. Like he's wearing a mask too. And they put so much, well, I think because they put so much stock in the Thunderdome and clearly playing off of Mad Max and clearly playing off of Retribution being Mad Max characters, that we're to a point where, like, oh, they're leaving the Thunderdome because of COVID violations, right? Did you see that?
Yeah.
So I think Vince McMahon's like, well, now we got no more Mad Max. So who cares?
Do you think Ciampa was supposed to be part of it and he was the only one that spoke up and was like, nah?
Probably. Probably because, like, and think about Dio Madden. He could just be Dio or Madden. Like, he has such a good look. They all have good names. They all have good looks. Like, Mercedes Martinez and Mia Yim are just, Mia Yim needed this, but Mercedes Martinez didn't need it. So like, what I feel like they just sabotage these poor guys and girls.
Yeah. All right, Phil. So where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AnimatedPhil.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Coney Waves. Make sure you subscribe to Primetime Poulton, hit the notifications, and we will catch you guys next week where we'll be talking Impact Wrestling, and we'll be talking about Bound for Glory, which is this Saturday. So, guys, thanks for watching, and we're going to sign off now.